Welcome to the 2020 Delaware Academy Meet the Candidate. I am John Gray, tonight's moderator, representing the Delaware Academy Speech and Debate team. On behalf of Delaware Academy Central School District, we would like to welcome and thank our four candidates here for the Board of Education. To my right, we have Kenneth Akins, Jonah Shaw. To my left, we have Kimberly Shepard. Did I say that right? And James R. Tucker Jr. Thank you again for being here. Tonight we are going to hear these four candidates answer a series of questions developed by the Delhi community and the speech and debate team. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer a question. I will provide time signals throughout the speeches or answers. You will hear a knock for 60 seconds remaining, like this. You will hear 2 knocks for 30 seconds, and then 3 knocks for please wrap up. Okay. Tonight we drew our candidate we drew our first speaker out of our. Oh man, I already screwed it up. We're gonna keep rolling. We're live. Sorry, everybody. Out of our mask here. Sorry. And our first candidate that we see tonight is Mr. Akins. After we go through each one of the questions, each candidate will have an opportunity for a final statement that will be for 2 minutes. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Mr. Akins, with the first question, what does serving on the school board mean to you? You may start now.
Good question. Serving on the school board for me, for the past 2 years, I have been on the school board. So it has been enlightening. It has been very educational. It does bring a sense of reality that I was not aware of in future. I think the best thing about the school board is the fact that I am making a difference for these children, teachers, and communities, and not sitting home and wondering how to make a difference. It's enlightening. It's a tough job. It takes a lot of time, but I do enjoy the vigorous schedule at times, especially lately. And I do want to do the best job I can for the students. And I think that being on the school board is a big step in being involved in the community and helping out. Otherwise, I would not be able to be as involved in the community and school.
Great, thank you. Mr. Shaw, same question. What does serving on the school board mean to you?
Well, I am not on the school board currently, so I guess looking to why I would want to be on the school board. I've been a part of this community, having gone to high school and elementary school here, and having run a business here for 20 years now, all my life. And I want to participate in helping shape the education for my kids that are in school and all of the other children in the community. I want to kind of give back to the community that raised me. And I think that right now we're facing unprecedented changes and potentially drastic changes to the way education is imagined. And I thought this would be an opportune time to throw my hat in the ring and hopefully take part in that conversation and make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Shepherd, same question. What does or what will serving on the school board mean to you?
Serving on the Board of Education, to me, I think would mean that I value, and I do value, public education. There are challenging times, as Jonah said, coming in our immediate future. We're in challenging times, so there are changes in education in our immediate future, like today and even in September, and probably permanent changes right around the corner. I would like to have some input and listen to the community, listen to the teachers, parents, and bring that collaboration to have input in the changes that may be occurring in education in our future. I have 2 children. One has graduated from Delaware Academy, and one is currently in 5th grade. And the school district is amazing. The opportunities that we provide the children in our school district are incredible. My older son thrived in school, not just academically, but through all the extracurricular activities he participated in. I think Delaware Academy was I think he would say it was, a great time in his life and a great experience. And I have a 5th grader now who is being challenged every day through the rigor of the curriculum, and also participates in extracurricular activities. So I would like to, continue the rigor that we have and the programs that we have. And I praise the district. I think it's a wonderful district. And with the changes that may be coming, I want to make sure things that are important to the community, the teachers, the parents, and the students aren't lost.
Great, thank you. And finally, Mr. Tucker, same question. What does serving on the school board, or what will serving on the school board mean to you?
Serving on the school board would mean to me a sense of community. I would like to be part of something that is bigger than myself. And I believe that we are going to be hitting some unprecedented times with what happens in the school district and the children in the school district. I would like to be hopefully part of a positive solution moving forward. And at the end of the day, I would rather not be sitting on the sidelines at this point in time. I've thought about running for the school board for several years. I actually planned on getting a petition this year, and then of course, with everything that happened, there were no petitions signed. So due to the order of the governor, here I am. I was able to still sit here today to try to be part of it. So ultimately, I think just being able to get back to my community that has been good to me. That's it.
Awesome, thank you. Our next question will, as we move down, will be to Mr. Shaw. So the question is, what school activities, such as clubs and sports, do you value outside of the classroom?
Well, when I was in school, I participated in a range of extracurricular activities, from sports to yearbook, newspaper. I think that it would be difficult to say that one is more important than the other, because all students have different interests and different needs. I think that extracurricular activities and clubs are extremely important because it can be something that the students find interest in. And just actually discussing this with a few people the other day, I think that the extracurricular activities are in many ways essential to keeping students interested in school and continuing to attend school. So I think that we've had an amazing run of success with athletics here between the cross-country teams this year and basketball teams, and the music program that my children are involved in is, I think second to none as far as I can tell. So I think, it's important to have a wide range of activities, and I would be very supportive of trying to maintain everything that we have and look for additional outlets that might bring more student involvement into school activities.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Ms. Shepherd, the same question. What school activities such as clubs and sports do you value outside of the classroom?
A range, a various range of both extracurricular clubs and sports, I think are really important. My older son participated in football and cross country. My younger son now, it's on like Pee-wee teams for football and basketball and soccer. I know some of the clubs, in addition to sports, at the elementary level, I believe they have Girls on the Run, which is a national program. The school district that I actually teach in also has that program, and it's a huge success. And I was happy to see a few years back that Delaware Academy started offering the same program for boys called Scrambled Legs, and my son participated in that. Unfortunately, those didn't happen this year because they are in the spring and culminate with the 5K bridge run. But I know he enjoyed that a lot, and the coaches were amazing for that. They were teachers here at the district. I also think it's one of the things that I've been so impressed with over the years that the district has done are the partnerships with SUNY Delhi, as far as coursework and things like that they can take at the upper levels, getting college credits, not having to attend BOCES for auto mechanics or things like that. I think that is huge. I don't know, I have a feeling my younger son will follow in his dad's footsteps and possibly attend the same auto mechanic program at Delhi Tech. I don't know, but that sounds like where he's going. Another thing that I have, I don't know if this is an outside club or not, but one of the courses that I've been so impressed with, and my neighbors are very involved, their children anyway, and I don't know the exact name, but it's kind of like the animal science program, where, they're getting hands-on experiences in the classroom with these animals and learning, all aspects of that from almost like a veterinarian aspect. So,
Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome.
Mr. Tucker, same question. What school activities such as clubs and sports do you value outside of the classroom?
So I have 2 daughters. So obviously sports are different with the orientation. My youngest plays volleyball, so I don't think I missed any volleyball games last season. I believe athletics are very important to the school district for the morality of the school. Having the boys go as far as they did in basketball was great for the kids to get together and cheer on and root for their team. Both of my girls are very musically talented, or in my opinion, they're very talented. But they go, with the various concerts, and I have always liked the music program here, and hopefully we'll find an excellent replacement for Mr. Deegan. And I believe the varsity club and the student council are very important clubs. So ultimately, it's well-rounded, and they all have their own importance in the school district. So to pick or choose one, I can't say I can, but they all have their value, and I would like to see everything continue as is in a perfect world. But that's
Awesome. Thank you. Perfect. Very, very good. Mr. Akins, same question to you. What school activities, such as clubs and sports, do you value outside of the classroom?
I think all in all, I value all of them. I did not realize until I was a member of the school board how many actual extracurricular activities we have. Everybody hears about sports, but the extracurricular stuff, from band to the arts to ukulele club to, there's a lot of extras that the kids can be involved in. And I think that as a whole helps the kids want to come to school, want to participate. It helps, excuse me. It helps them become more rounded as human beings and students. And it also helps the outcome of their, it helps them go on to the next level, meaning college or anything after high school. The camaraderie, the groups, the clubs, I think are very, very important. But I do not want to throw an emphasis on them versus the learning. The learning is obviously number one for me. But the extracurricular is also a top priority, yes.
Great, thank you. The next question is for Mrs. Safford. Shepherd, sorry. Okay, Shepherd. How do you see technology facilitating learning?
Perfect timing for that question. That's what we've been doing since March. Me anyway, I'm a school teacher. I teach 4th grade, and I have been doing remote online teaching with my 4th graders. So right now it's more prevalent and more important than ever, especially depending on what happens in September. I will admit that my 4th graders are probably more proficient in it than I am. Yes, it's extremely important. However, I don't think it takes place of classroom instruction and the teachers in the classroom. I am crossing my fingers that we all go back in September. I just think that's the way it should be. But yes, I think everybody today, any teacher, even if we didn't have this crisis situation, that these kids are born in technology today, and they do know more about it than I do because I wasn't. I'm actually doing a training tomorrow through my school on a platform called Schoology. I think in Delhi right now they're using Google Classroom, and that's what I'm using too. But I'm taking a training tomorrow on Schoology because that's the platform my school district is going to start moving to. But I think, especially older adults like myself, we need to constantly step up our game with technology because kids today it's their norm, and it's fast, life is fast paced today. Things change and move quickly, and it needs to be incorporated every day because that's how they're growing up. But I don't believe it cannot replace the interactions in a classroom on a daily basis with a teacher and the students.
Thank you. Same question to you, Mr. Tucker. How do you see technology facilitating learning?
So I have spent the last 2 months watching my daughters do online schooling. I'm lucky because they are good students and they have the ability to almost self-teach because half of it is self-teaching. They are getting the classroom instruction. But again, it is definitely not a replacement for a teacher by any means. There are a lot of kids in the school district that have probably suffered tremendously because they would not be able to learn online like we've been doing for 2 months. So technology in the classroom, all the kids have their Chromebooks, which is great. I think it's everything's listed online. There should never be a need to say I don't know what the assignment is because it's all right there. So those are all benefits to the technology. But again, ultimately, what's been going on for the past 2 months, I don't think there's any kind of replacement for a school district to consider.
Great, thank you. Mr. Akins, same question. How do you see technology facilitating learning?
I believe that it is the only way right now. I agree with the others that it is not a long-term effect. I think we need to get the students and the teachers and the faculty back in the school as safe as possible, if allowed, as fast as possible, because it is a hindrance on their learning. It is very normal for kids to be technological savvy, excuse me. But that does take away, I believe, with the one-on-one, the face-to-face communications between a teacher and a student, you know, the body language, the tone of voice, or eye contact, which I think a lot of kids struggle with these days. As technology goes, it's only going bigger, better, faster. So we have to be up with times, but I don't want to lose sight of the old school way either.
Great, thank you. Mr. Shaw, same question. How do you see technology facilitating learning?
Well, as James pointed out, all the students currently have Chromebooks. And as Kim pointed out, the kids are probably more tech savvy than we are. So I think there's a natural ascendancy for the kids to be interested in the tech stuff. And I think we can, as we search for ways to educate, should we need to change the course of action, I think we need to figure out how to use that to our advantage, because the kids, as far as I can tell from my kids anyway, and most of the other kids that I see, they love their devices and they don't want to be without their devices. So how can we capture that interest in tech to translate that into education? They want to use the devices. How can we let them use it and get the education they need? Now, I also agree with what Ken said. I don't think that our goal should be to get away from face-to-face learning. I think being in the classroom, being with your peers, being with your teacher, that's, I think the whole purpose of going to school and being socialized. So I think we need to do what we can to make that happen, but we need to be prepared for the what ifs. And I think the school did an amazing job of stopping on a dime and getting everyone up and running remotely almost overnight. But now we've got a few months to go before September hits, and we can cross our fingers and hope that everyone's going to be back here safely. But I think we would be remiss in our duties if we did not have a good plan of attack going into September in case that's not the case. And we should figure out a way to make technology our friend.
Perfect, thank you. And our last and final question will be to Mr. Tucker first. As a member of the Board of Education, describe your relationship with our students, staff, and the community.
Can you repeat that?
Absolutely, yeah, that's a long question, sorry. As a member of the Board of Education, describe your relationship with our students, staff, and the community.
So, if I was to be elected on the Board of Education, I would, for the staff, I would like the staff to know I would be pro-teacher, which obviously that's something you would want. If budget cuts come, which our budget is going to be an issue in the next year, I'm sure, I would feel it'd be one of our most important tasks is to keep all the staff ultimately the teachers are the most important part of the education system. Without the teachers, then there's really no education. The students, I would be open to listen to what the students have to say. I do know that students like to address the board with their concerns. You have I believe the student council or I'm not sure if it's the student senate, or they work directly with the board and the administration at times. I'd be very open to listen to their concerns. And with the community, I feel that there is, for whatever reason, there's always community chatter of feeling they are left in the dark about something. So hopefully that could be addressed in the future. And it's not just this budget, or it's been consistent for a while. So that's it.
Great, thank you. Mr. Akins, as a member of the Board of Education, describe your relationship with our students, staff, and the community.
Repeat again, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So as a member of the Board of Education, describe your relationship with our students, staff, and the community.
I think the relationship between the board member and all three should be very energized in the fact that I love to engage with students and the staff and community, but I don't want the students, staff, and community to think that a board member is do all, say all. This is a big, complex business, the district. $20 million business. It's a lot of moving parts with a lot of very, very smart, very intelligent people that have been employed here. And I don't want everybody or anybody to think that being on the board is a do all, say all. It's not. It's more of a learn and discuss and solve problems. When with students especially, I have two students, obviously. Both boys, I did not want to think that myself being on the board was going to be a hindrance to them. And neither one of them thought that. But when I go out into public with the community, sometimes a lot of people prejudge the board for bad things, more than good things that may have happened, thinking that it's always the board's responsibility, that they're not informed or they're not well educated on. I don't want the staff as a whole. We have a great staff here. I want to keep all the staff here, and I will work my hardest to keep all the staff here and get everybody back in school and teaching the kids in-house the best we can, safely.
Thank you. Mr. Shaw, the same question. As a member of the Board of Education, describe your relationship with our students, staff, and the community.
I think that a member of the board or the board as a whole can kind of be a conduit in some ways between all three. You have your community that is paying the taxes, so kind of looks at us as their employees in some ways. We have the students that might be upset with something the faculty has done to them that they think is unjust. So there's a lot of, I think a lot of communication between all parts, and I think the board can facilitate that. I think as James pointed out and Ken pointed out, sometimes there's a lack of understanding, and sometimes blame is cast on the board. I've seen it happen quite a lot, which is unfortunate because from what I can tell, the board works very hard. I haven't been on the board myself. So I think that my biggest goal would be to, kind of bridge the gap and create better lines of communication so there aren't misunderstandings. And I think that, good communication can be the key to solving problems. So I think that, all of these parts that you've mentioned, the community, the students, the staff, and the board, we need to hear each other, we need to work together, and if we can do that, we should be able to provide a top-notch education within budget.
Great, thank you. Mr. Shepherd, same question. As a member of the Board of Education, describe your relationship with our students, staff, and the community.
I think the Board of Education and the members, really, their relationship with students should be as an advocate. I think it's the board members' jobs to, advocate for the best, positive, well-rounded, and challenging education for students in their district, and also ensure that there's ample opportunity provided for activities or extracurricular things outside of the classroom. As far as relationship with staff, probably the biggest thing I think would be a listener, somebody who listens to the staff. I think Board of Education members should, work with the staff to create a shared vision of, what our district should offer, what our district should look like, things like that. As far as community, again, I think it's really important to listen. I think it's important to communicate. But I also think it's important to get, them involved and get their input in decisions that affect not just, the students, but, things that happen at the school also have a huge impact on the community, especially if they're financial. So I think to get them, involved or just get their input, seek ways to get their input and keep the communication lines open with the community. I think that's the biggest role for the relationship with the community for the board members.
Wonderful, thank you so much. So that concludes our questions. We are going to move into our final statements. We're going to go back to Mr. Akins to start us off. He'll have 2 minutes to give us his final statement. Thank you again.
Okay. I'd like to say thank you for everybody for watching. I would say if reelected, I am going to do my hardest to keep everybody involved and informed and try to get our kids back to I can't say the old way, but back to learning and learning efficiently. There's no substitute for in-school learning, I feel, but right now, I think we are in the technological world, we're pretty up on times. There are some financial struggles coming, I believe, with the state aid, and who knows what the CDC has to say when and if we're coming back in September. I'd like to thank everybody again and go vote.
Great, thank you. Mr. Shaw.
I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in and listening to what we have to say. I think that everyone that's here today sounds impassioned and interested, and I think that, if everyone holds to their word and what they've said, we should have 2 great board members, no matter who wins. I would ask for your vote because, I think I'll do a good job. I will work tirelessly. I am interested in this community, and I'm interested in seeing the students here succeed to the best of their abilities. And, if there are big changes coming, I'd like to have a voice and be part of developing a solution to that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Shepherd, same question, well, not a question, final statement.
Thank you. I have a lifelong experience, at least 30 years in education. This is going to sound silly, but all my education is in education. And I've been teaching or doing some aspect of education, whether it's administration or whatever, for 30 years. I think I have a good handle on the school system, and would like to, I actually think I could be a valuable resource for things that may be coming as far as changes, and just help, with some input on maybe needs or requirements that may be coming down. And I think my input could be valuable there. I'm also a parent in the school district, and don't want to see any of the current programs that are offered have to go because of financial aspects, if that comes down the line. So I would also like to keep the things going that my son and all the other students are involved in. And I'm also a taxpayer who does not want my taxes to go up. So I always have that in mind too. I don't want to pay, I would love to pay zero tax, school tax, or keep it very, very low. I guess those are my reasons, for kind of wanting to run for the school board, and those are what is kind of in my mind, that I'm coming not just as an educator, but I'm also coming as a parent and a taxpayer, and we'll keep those 3 hats on during this whole tenure as a Board of Education member if I am elected. I have more time, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I kind of want to go back to a couple questions that I jotted things down that I kind of wish I said. As far as one of the questions about facilitating, how does technology facilitate? I think that's really kind of how it has to be used, is to facilitate the education, not run the education. But an important thing we have to make sure, though, is that there is access to technology devices and the access to the internet for everybody. Especially if it becomes a requirement if we're have to do home instruction again. I can just give you an example that there's 3 people living at my house, and when we're all on a device at the same time, it's scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. So there's certain things that we have to keep in mind and come up with plans to help for situations like that in a rural area that we live in. So I would love your vote.
Thank you. Mr. Tucker, final statement.
I would like to thank everybody that's watching for the opportunity to present myself as a candidate for the school board. I am running for a few various reasons. One would be for the possible financial issues we're going to have in the future. And as I said earlier, I'd like to be here to maintain staff and programs. I know because of my daughters, I'm a strong advocate for the music and art department, and I know those always get looked at when times get tough, and I would like to be a voice for them. I would like the opportunity to work with the new superintendent. I think it's exciting and long overdue, not to sound rude or anything, but it's good for the school, and there'll be a fresh start in trying times. So should be an interesting progression. Also, I mean, the most important thing, obviously, are the kids. And I want to make sure I can have my voice heard for kids that are troubled or being left behind, and make sure they have a voice, as well as ensuring our kids are college ready, which I have a lot of friends at SUNY Delhi, and it is an issue sometimes that kids just aren't quite there, and that's got to be figured out why. So those are my reasons.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you all again for coming. Please make sure everybody else goes out and votes.
Thank you.